All right, everybody. It is Wednesday evening. It is raining as a butt outside, and I'm happy about that because I don't have to water the garden. And this is the garden party. This is the garden party, and we want a garden party with you. We talk about the plants we grow and some things you might not know. The garden party. All right, Des, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. It's Des, the squirrel lady, the bug lady, the mess. I'm a mess. Hi. It is not, by the way, it is raining and thundering apparently where Destin is in Houston, and there is a blue and sunny sky above me. So I would really appreciate some of that rain, but we're not getting any. I'm jealous.
I'm gonna need you to do a rain dance video. You need to do a rain dance video over there in Austin.
Man, I'm always rain dancing outside. I don't know. Maybe it's scaring it away. Maybe that's what the problem is.
Maybe that's it. Well, happy to have you, Des. Phil will be joining us shortly. Josh, what's going on, dude?
It's your favorite fruit tree dad and cat dad, I guess.
Catty?
So, yeah, no, I'm just fighting the squirrels, maybe not as harshly as Phil is or has today, but they've been eating my apples, and my cat's out there just literally standing guard, sleeping while the squirrels go behind her and grab the apples. It's actually quite comic. So that's what's been going on lately. But yeah, I'm just getting ready for fall. Can't wait to get some plants in the ground. Got another round coming in. Just keep on more fruit. It's gonna be great.
That's awesome. I know you're sick and tired of eating pears. I know.
I'm all paired out.
You're only eating about 1,000 homegrown pears this spring. Well, it is really hot outside here in Texas and pretty much everywhere else in the United States and around the world, I guess. I don't know. It depends on which hemisphere you're on. So I thought I'd bring in a different guest, a different kind of garden, a different kind of plant guy. We've got Tanner the planter from Famous in Oregon. What's going on, Tanner? Nice to have you on the show and welcome. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thank you. Yes, my wife and I own a brick and mortar houseplant store in Prosper, Texas, which is just north of Dallas, Texas. And I make a lot of plant content online, all about houseplants, all about houseplant education, especially. So we're in different worlds, but they kind of collide, right? They collide in a different way. A lot less than people think, actually. And we just wrote a book as well that just got published, or it's out for pre-launch right now, but super exciting. We've been working on it for about 3 years now. So crazy exciting times.
That is awesome.
Hey, congratulations. That's a huge accomplishment.
I love houseplants. I have a lot of houseplants, a large collection. So I'm excited about this. I am not only a vegetable and pollinator garden, I am an indoor houseplant gardener as well. So
I need to learn from you guys because I haven't moved outside much. My idea of outdoor gardening is just taking my houseplants outside.
I take my houseplants outside as well. I just discovered one of them currently is infested with red ants. So that's going to be super fun. I'm going to have to wash the entire root ball before it can come inside. It's a philodendron hope. So sad about it.
I saw some of your videos where y'all actually have, plant lights, grow lights in like coming out of your ceiling around your house. It's like that, like, on track lighting. And I got really excited about that. I ordered some like USB timer ones to put around the house because I have some, African violets that, they don't want like direct sun. And we only have like one west facing window we have 7 windows in our entire house, not very many. And so it's hard to find spaces where plants can even sit on a windowsill and get light. And so those grow lights are really, really nice.
Yeah, we went all in on the grow lights because where we live is very, very dense. So we have a bunch of big, beautiful windows, but every window that you look at, you can't see any sky at all. It's just trees. So it's like no natural light is getting in here for plants. So everything we grow is actually under grow lights right now, except for the stuff that I have outside.
Right.
Yeah.
How often do you run the grow lights? Is it like a 12-hour run? What's your run time?
When I remember, when I wake up and when I go to sleep. So at any time, usually I do a minimum of 12 hours, but
Yeah.
I'll usually do, I'll in a perfect world, 14 or 16 is usually really great for most of my things.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Grow lights are a really great option for people who, have an apartment building and there's like another apartment building right in front of you. You can definitely find a way to manipulate it. Even if you have just like a regular lamp that hangs down, you don't have to buy the special, lights. You can buy like just the bulb and like put it in regular lights. It's pretty neat the way y'all did. I wanted to real quick, we talked about it before the podcast, but kind of give people, your shop, Famous Organs, kind of famous, is kind of well known now. Let people know like how you kind of got started, selling plants and starting up y'all shop.
Let's see how far back we go. All right. So I was born and raised in Oregon, and I moved to Texas.
I love Oregon.
I know, it's wonderful, right?
Yes.
Especially for the outdoor gardening game. Everybody loves Oregon for that, right?
Yeah.
So when I moved to Texas 15 years ago, I had never been anywhere else in the world. Like, I was in Oregon, I didn't do anything, and then I moved to Texas, and that was that's my life, And
quick call back to Kelsey's garden. Go Beavers! That's every time she says she's from Oregon. She said, "Go Beavers!"
But that makes sense though, because they're an ag school, but they're just terrible at all the sports. Whatever, that's okay. So I moved here from Oregon, Texas. You guys know just as well as anybody does. Flat up here, and not very green, especially not compared to where I grew up. So kind of missing that greenery, that life. I couldn't really put a finger on it at first. Like, what am I missing here? Why is it so bland in this place? And I kind of felt like it was plant life. This was about 7 or 8 years ago. And I began to bring in plants that I remember my dad growing in my childhood home. So I was just bringing those in the house. The first thing I brought in was an aloe vera and quickly killed that. So I got online and I'm like, I'm a millennial. So of course I don't know how to do something. I'm just going to look it up on Google or whatever. And so I was just massively disappointed to see that there's so much conflicting information. I would read one article and it would say bright indirect light. The next one would say direct light. The next one would say low light tolerant. And I'm like, it's the same plant. It's genetic. They all have the same care. This is biology, right? And disappointed in that, I decided to, instead of giving up, I just decided to do my own research. So I got rid of all of like those blog articles, the old wives' tales, whatever. And I just went to the scientific information. I'm like, okay, how are they teaching this in college? Like, how are we teaching horticulture? How are we understanding plants on a scientific level? And so when I was able to read that, it made so much sense to me. But I'm not a college person. I have a high school degree. And so I had to like make it make sense for my brain, right? And so I started sharing this journey sort of online of, this is what I'm learning, you guys, and this is what's working. These are the these are the tricks that I'm applying. And it kind of grew very quickly like that. People were so grateful. They're like, can I get a cutting of your plant? I'll pay you. Like, can I tip you for the advice? Whatever. And my wife and I both had different businesses at that time. We weren't in the plant world, selling or anything like that. We had completely separate, unrelated businesses that we were running. And I kind of told her one day, I was like, baby, I think we should start selling plants, or at least look into it, that kind of thing. And it snowballed from there. We started doing live sales on our Facebook page, and that went so well the first year that we were able to afford our brick and mortar back in 2020. We opened up right at the beginning of the pandemic. I was just telling you right before the show that we signed the paperwork for our lease on our building. And then I think 3 or 4 days later, that's when it came out that we were going to be shut down. Like, everybody's on lockdown.
Yeah.
And so we had that moment of like dread, we just dumped all of our money in this. It was everything. Like, we didn't take out loans or anything. It's like, this is the money that we have. We got to make it work. And we did it. And luckily, it did. It worked out in a really big way.
So did they shut y'all? Did they shut y'all down? Like, y'all couldn't like be open? You couldn't have people in, or they had to have masks? Or what was like the protocol during those times for your shop?
Yeah,
I know it's Texas, so it's probably a little bit loose on certain things, but
we got saved by our horticultural license. So that's why Lowe's and Home Depot and all those places were able to stay open. It wasn't because you needed to do weekend projects. It's because they had plants. So plants are considered necessary. Maybe not tropical plants like we're selling, but
No, they're necessary.
yeah, they're necessary, right? So we were able to outfit, gosh, tons of. It exploded really because everybody got into plants during COVID, and we had to update a lot or do a lot of Zoom backgrounds because everyone was working from home and they wanted it to look nice. So
Yeah.
hey, my husband has to work from home now. We need some plants for his, for his business calls, and so we did so much of that. It just exploded.
Yeah.
But, we just had to kind of social distance. We wore masks. But yeah, Texans largely
Didn't shut down much
yeah,
on certain
they
things.
didn't shut down a whole lot. Well, what are you supposed to do? It's not. I mean, can't.
The plants are purifying the air. We're good. We're good. It's
Everything's bigger in Texas anyway, so you guys have more space down there.
Except for our shop is like 800 square feet.
Well, and I think most of us probably started our social media during the pandemic. I mean, I started right before, like on TikTok, but I mean, I think like Des, me and you were around the same time, like in 2019, like right before the pandemic hit, kind of.
I was a huge chicken. I didn't start okay, so I'm silly. First of all, I'm silly, and I was like embarrassed that I was even posting on the internet at all, and so I had a secret like TikTok account where I started talking about gardening a little bit, and then I didn't even tell my family that I was doing it until I hit 45,000 followers, and I was like, somebody's going to find out about this. And then after that, then I hit 100,000 followers, and I hit them before Destin did, and then I was like encouraging him to hit that 100,000 followers on TikTok, and that's kind of how that happened.
Yeah. Well, and because I met you through Froberg. And
yeah,
that's how
but we were already mutuals. We were already mutuals on TikTok. But I also wanted to say I have a funny aloe vera story too, to go with Tanner's little story here. I have an aloe vera plant on a cabinet, the medicine cabinet in my bathroom. And there is not a window in there. I never water it. It is still alive. I don't know how it's alive. I have never touched it since I stuck it up there. I forgot it was
Is that
up
a
there.
real? Is that a real?
Are you sure it's real? Are you sure it's real?
I swear to you, this is a real aloe vera plant. I swear to you, I have not watered this thing in years. It's living off the dew of the shower and no sunlight at all, just the lighting in the bathroom from the vanity, because we don't have an overhead light in there.
That's insane. That's pretty crazy.
It is crazy. So speaking of like aloe vera plants and conflicting information, like you need bright light, you need shade, you need water, you need not a lot of water. Like I have a zombie aloe vera that's just doing its own thing up there.
Well, the very fact that, I mean, you already answered the question. It's your lights on your vanity. It's
it's the vanity light.
Like your regular bulbs have the same sort of light that your plants would need. So that's something that I combat all the time. People will say like, this plant doesn't need any light. It's in my bathroom and it has no windows. And I'm like, okay, you've got a light bulb in there. So quit telling people that you can put your plants in without any windows and no light.
Yes. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. You don't really actually need a specialized plant grow bulb. Most LED bulbs are full spectrum bulbs anyway, so like they can photosynthesize off of that stuff. I mean, I have a rubber tree in a dark corner in my salon, and if I'm not there, it's getting really far diffuse light from a small window, and it does great because it's an understory tree. Right. Sorry, I derailed that from our our origin stories.
No, you're real quick, Phil. Speaking of aloe vera and needing to use like ointments, how are you doing? Go ahead and introduce yourself and show everybody your battle wounds from today.
It was nothing. Oh,
but a flesh
scratch. I haven't posted it yet. I'm about to. It was nothing. I was mad. Okay, what up, everybody? It's favorite plant parent, regular parent, juggling the two. Phil coming in hot after being attacked by a squirrel and after shredding the gnar of this Hurricane Aaron. But
what language?
And I'm harvesting figs. Right, I just ate a bunch of figs. I had a great day. Minus the squirrel, and writing some reports for work. But I'm here now in my favorite part of the week where I get to like externalize all my plant stuff with you guys. Yeah, it's that squirrel had no business biting me and scratching me because I was helping it.
You were saving the squirrel.
Did you
it
not
should have been
see?
thanking me, really.
Grace laughed at me because she watched the video and saw my face afterwards. And Tanner, I'll have to send you. I sent it to them in the chat, but I'm going to post this video of me I have a bird net that works really well at keeping squirrels out, and it works really well now at catching squirrels when they try to get out. And I had to literally like cut it out of the net, and it thanked me by biting and scratching me on its way out of there. So
did it actually bite you or just scratch you?
I think it just scratched me because mine didn't bleed like the way yours bled when you got bit.
Oh,
hers
honey,
was to the bone. Hers was to the bone.
It was not to the bone. It went straight through my finger, both sides. It's fine. And it's not the first time it's happened. It won't be the last, probably, because I'm always rescuing squirrels. But I used to rehab them.
Case for me to stay inside doing my
dude.
Yeah, this is a nice reminder. Because I'm excited to ask you because I have this little like my plant ICU has now become my like succulent and indoor plant place because I've gotten good. All the stuff I used to take care of my friends' plants has now gotten good enough I can move it out, and now I have like my bromeliads and my other things that are like kind of surviving pretty intense heat. Like the resiliency of some of these indoor plants is pretty cool. But yeah, anyway, in other news, there's also a hurricane hitting my coastline here in North Carolina, and I'm trying to dodge that.
Is it going to make landfall? It's just going to be on the outskirts, right?
Just the Outer Banks. But the problem is these storms generate storm surge that are associated with big swell. And so I looked at the swell report. It's supposed to be like 20-foot waves. And there are a lot of coastal communities with a 5-foot wave. Yeah, via con Dios. That won't survive the impacts there. And houses are already falling in. Yeah, so
I saw that.
All my love to the Outer Banks.
Me too.
You guys should get through this. But anyway, after technical difficulties, I'm on here. So thanks for letting me bop in late.
Oh, you're good, dude. Happy to have you. Yeah, on the note of like what Des was saying, the lights. Well, yes, I do notice like some plants that don't need a whole lot of light. And Phil, you mentioned like bromeliads. Bromeliads for me, they can handle the heat. They don't really like full light. Like I mean, Tanner, like y'all do bromeliads like in the shop. Do y'all a lot of indirect light, right?
Oh, I don't use those terms. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, good. Okay, sorry.
I have looked.
Talk about like if I were to ask each one of you, what is like, show me an example of indirect light. I'd get 4 different.
It's a relative term. There you go.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that people appreciated so much about how I teach plants early on, especially, and still to this day, is that I don't use a lot of those terms because it's very confusing and it doesn't help the hobby very much. Instead, I mostly use foot candles.
Yeah.
Which is direct and 100% accurate every single time.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I guess that's a good point.
Culturally correct.
That's a really good point because that can be so regional. Because people say full sun, and full sun in Texas is not full sun everywhere else. So it's a very different. So I mean, that's a cool idea. So you use like the actual terms, like how much light this actually needs for the foot candles. You said.
Well, yeah.
How does it work against lumens?
I had to look it up just now.
Yeah, I was
looking it up. Lumen per square foot.
Lumens are the human's interpretation of brightness. It doesn't really mean anything for plants.
Oh.
But foot candles is how they measure light. So like they'll say like, hey, we've done the tests on this. Like if you look in like a lot of the places, the University of Missouri has a lot of great stuff. All over New York, they have a lot of great horticulture stuff. But they'll say something like this, the Dracaena Janet-Craig grows well in 2,000-foot candles, but will survive in 500-foot candles, for example, And so now, as a plant parent, I can just circumvent all the guess and check. I don't have it with me, but get like a $30 light meter and say, oh, am I getting 500-foot candles? Great. I can make it live. That's like half the battle right there. Probably 90% of the battle, really.
Do you sell those lighting measuring tools? That'd be pretty cool.
Light
Yeah,
meters.
actually, what was funny is we got a bunch of them made for Tanner the Planter, and we have a live sale twice a week. It's really what we're famous for, and we sold them, our Tanner the Planter light meters on there, and of course they were made in China, right? And we sold them, and we're like, oh, great, it's a great little profit or whatever. And then we got hit with the shipping fees later on that we didn't know about because we had never done anything like that, and we lost our butts on it. But it's okay.
It's live and learn, and everything's constantly changing with that kind of stuff.
It is, yeah. So, but it was, yeah, we've sold them before, but largely, yeah, we just direct people to buying them wherever they can. That's
interesting. I'm gonna have to definitely get one. I put the link for your book. There is a link to pre-order his book that'll be coming out, and you'll been working on that for a couple of years. And the website famousinoregon.com, to where you can catch the live streams and stuff like that as well.
Famous in Oregon is just our store's website. Our live stream, we have an app called Tanner the Planter, so you can download it wherever you get your apps. That's the best place to watch.
You have your own app?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's pretty awesome.
We get about 2,000 people on our live sales twice a week, and we'll do maybe a pop-up randomly here at our store or something. And we go live. My wife and I, we go live for about 2 hours, and we talk plants, kind of like with a community like this, except for 2,000 people. And they're just typing. It's only us that are on the camera, and we will have 25 or 30 different plant varieties, both of those different days. And we talk about care instructions. We talk about foot candles. How many foot candles are you going to need for this plant to live? So they know what they're getting into, see if they have the light. We talk about watering, fun facts. I like to learn where the plants are from and talk about their seasons and, all the interesting lore. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That's super
I love
interesting.
plant lore.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
When you started doing plant sales live, did you do it straight from your app originally, or did you do it on other platforms?
We did it on Facebook first, and it was all manual. So we'd have a lot of upset people because, it would be first come, first person. So we'd hold up, we'd have this plant. We'd say, okay, comment sold toilet paper if you want this plant. And the first person to get it, because early on we only had maybe one of each plant or 2 or 3 of each plant. And so the people would be pissed because they're like, no, I commented first. And we're like, it just has to be what we see on our screen. And my wife was furiously taking down notes. Who got it? Who got this one? Who got this one? And then we would have to invoice them afterwards. That was for the birds. So when we got the software, way, way better.
This is a great setup that you have too.
Thank you.
I love that. That is really cool.
Yeah, it was the last time we just did last night last night.
Wow, I love it.
Well, and this is, y'all had this before Palm Street, and Palm Street was called something else before that. And there's a lot of fees and stuff like that go along with Palm Street. There's fees and to the app. So you're bypassing all of that by having your own app. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know. It's so funny. I have tons of friends who sell on Palm Street, and there's this little, so Palm Street takes a 20% cut, which is big.
20%?
So when all of them sign up, they immediately increase their prices by 20%. We don't have to do that. So people come on our live sale and they're like, whoa, your prices are way better. We're like, yeah, we know. We're not crazy on that stupid app. And it's just our vibe on our live sale. I don't know if you've ever been on any live sales, but in the houseplant world, it's very, I don't know really how to say it, but it's very high energy. It's very buy now. It's very pushy. I guess very hard sale.
Well, cutthroat.
Yes, very.
Yeah.
And my wife and I, we put a little jazz music on. We've got our nice little ambiance. We're slow. We're just having a great time, and our audience loves it. That's what we're about.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know. I've done some Palm Street buying, and it can definitely get a little competitive and a little aggressive in the chat, and it's a little wild. It's definitely a different experience.
It's changed. I see it changing the plant community because I remember, when I really got into it, collecting and stuff 8 years ago or whatever, the community everybody was, it was a very welcoming community. But now with so many people and this dog eat dog kind of world, and I'll get on some of these live sales and they're like, F the bills, buy the plants, and I'm like, dude.
Hey man, right?
Yeah.
Well, and it's a lot of influencers. It's a lot of influencers rather than people who are actually plant enthusiasts. Mm-hmm. I know a person. I don't know the person. I know the nursery where they do it, but it's an influencer that shows up before they open at the nursery. It's a wholesale nursery. They go in and they get a cart and they fill it with stuff, and they go live on Palm Street from that person's nursery and sell stuff at that nursery before they even pay for it at the nursery. So like it's sold before they even buy it from the nursery. So like these people don't really know anything. They don't, dude, I swear it's crazy. Well, and the nursery doesn't care because, you know, it's someone they have coming in once or twice a week and they're getting paid for whatever. But, you know, it's hard to keep on. Is that a ladybug or a love bug?
No, just showing off my reflexes. Sorry.
but it just goes to show you, like, not everybody's like an enthusiast or an expert. You know, there's just a lot of like people with a following, you know, building a following off like TikTok videos. Like they're not necessarily even really talking about plants. You know, they're just not really plant enthusiasts. Because I mean, y'all started out as, you know, plant lovers. Y'all are probably plant hoarders like the rest of us, just indoors.
Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, and it is one of those things that's a little bit rough because we get, I don't know, probably close to 100 or 200 DMs a day, and a lot of them are, hey, I got this plant from so and so, somebody, probably that guy from there. How do I take care of it? And I'm like, I don't know, go ask him. Like, I got to spend time with my customers, you know?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to respond to all the comments and DMs, especially when they can get very repetitive.
Oh yeah.
I think I was talking to your wife on the DMs this morning. And I was like, yeah, y'all can just do like an auto reply, you know, and say you're overwatering your plant, and it'll just solve 90% of most of the problems. Like you're overwatering it, you're overwatering. I mean, that's probably like the number one cause of like indoor plant problems, right? Is overwatering.
Yeah. Have you
loving the love?
Oh man, that's right. I haven't done that. Actually, I struggle with indoor plants because I always go outside to water my plants. So you see, my poor plants are looking out the window like, please water me. And like, I need to get on it. But, oh man, I can't believe people would sell while they're in Lowe's or something and just.
It's not in a big box store. It's at like a wholesale nursery, like a huge wholesale nursery.
Right.
But yeah, no, most problems with indoor plants are people overwatering, using the wrong soil, not good drainage.
I would say even more than that, because yes, that is the number one. I would say in my experience, because I do consults on my Instagram. There's like a personal subscription consult service. I've been doing that for years. So I do thousands of consults a year for, you know, troubleshooting people's houseplants across the world. And it's almost always an overwatering problem. But the underlying real problem is a lack of light. They try to put them way too far away. And so any amount of water is overwatering because there's no light to process the water. You know, so it's really a lack of light. That's
good reminder.
In my experience.
That's a good point. And when you measure the water, I saw in one of your videos, you stick like a long, I don't know, some sort of wooden dial down into the plant. Is that your recommended method for testing?
Yeah, actually. So this is something that we got super famous for because watering is one of those mystery things for people, right? So early on, when I'm trying to figure out how to water, I kind of delineated these two things because these scientific articles that I was reading about lighting and how people take care of plants in the horticultural world, it still didn't have anything about water on there. There wasn't anything as definitive as a light meter on there, you know. People will say like the water meters and stuff like that. You guys probably know they're problematic at best. They're kind of a scam in the gardening world.
Oh yeah,
world especially. But so I was like, well, how can I do this a little bit differently? I know that I don't want my plants to wilt in between watering. That causes stress, and stress response is going to invite pests and a whole lot of other things. So I don't want it to wilt. So I'm not looking for that visual sign my plant needs water. But of course, you can't water too often because then you get root rot, right? So I started doing these experiments where I would get a new plant and I would measure my light, make sure it's in the right light first. And then I would give it a really thorough soak. And then I would wait for it to wilt. And at that point, I would take a knitting needle at the time, and I would stick it down into the soil at different depths, 25, 50, 75. I was looking for when my chopstick got wet so I could kind of determine where it was down there. So then I was able to determine plant by plant, okay, Monstera deliciosa. At about 75% dry, it's going to start wilting. So I want to avoid that wilt. So what happens if I water it at 50%? Okay, well, at 50%, I avoided the wilting and I didn't get root rot. That's great. Can I push it to 25%? Because more water and nutrients along with the proper light is going to get faster growth. So can I push it to 25%? Same thing. I was still okay. Didn't get wilting, didn't get root rot. Perfect. Topsoil definitely rotted it out. I gave root rot to that plant like 6 times that summer, trying to push it. But so that's what I've done in this book. We've done the experiments for hundreds and hundreds of plants at this point, determining how much they need to dry out in between watering. But about 25-ish plants into all these experiments, I kind of started using my observational skills and say, okay, well, what's caused it? Like, why can some go longer than others? You know? And then I started recognizing the plant's anatomy. So none of this stuff is online. It's completely just made up. It's right close to bunk, but it works. So like, if you look at a succulent, for example, what a succulent's really well known for, they've got those really plump leaves, you know? They're full of water. Their anatomy is very, very thick. So they can go 100% dry in between. All of their soil can dry out and you see no signs of wilting. Well, if you look at on the opposite end of the spectrum, maybe like a fern. Well, you look at the leaves of a fern, they're papery thin. You look at the stems, papery thin. The roots are fibrous. So they have no ability to store water in their anatomy. So you have to give water to their soil all the time because that's their water storage. That's where they're pulling from all the time, which isn't the case. And then there's everything in between, you know, philodendrons, monstera, anthurium, they're somewhere in the middle. But yeah, that's kind of the whole deal.
That is so cool. It's like you practice all your methods with the concept of like finding like the result of every saturation of soil level.
You know, we've been taking care of plants for thousands of years and nobody has made it super, super simple, like that everybody could do it. You know, it's vague terms like bright indirect light. Okay, well, I guess this is pretty bright to me, I guess. Well, the problem is with that is like our eyes adjust our light as we walk into different rooms. Like when you go outside, you know, you got to put on the sunglasses because your pupils have opened up to let, or have closed, sorry, to restrict the light so you don't get so much information into your eyeballs so you can see. And then on the other side, when you walk in, and this is the real problem, when you go inside, your pupils go like this. So we let in a ton of light. So like our bright light is usually very, very low light to a plant. The thing that I always use is like, you know, when you stand under a tree, oftentimes you still have to have sunglasses on, or when you look up, you're seeing a bunch of breaks in the canopy. You're seeing light coming down. But when you're inside your home and you look up, you're only seeing your roof. You don't see any breaks in the canopy. Your only source of light is coming through that window. So how much view of the sky through your window do you have? That's why so many people fail with them. They try to pull the plants way back away from the window, and it just doesn't work very well because you've got a big roof on here, a very dense canopy.
Yeah. One of my favorite things to do is go on tropical travels and see my houseplants in the wild.
Oh, yeah.
What your houseplant does in the wild can inform you really well about how they might behave inside. Like one big mistake I feel like I see a lot of people with monsteras make is not staking them because they like to climb. So they'll have like a really small looking monstera in the house and they're like, why is your monstera so big? And meanwhile, mine's on a fence post. And I'm like, well, because it wants to climb. In nature, it climbs giant trees, like in the rainforest. If you go to Hawaii, you see monsteras climbing the trees and they're dropping all of these huge, long air roots. And so that's one of my favorite ways to see plants. I did a video like last year in Mexico. Actually, it was earlier this year in Mexico. It was a perfect example of lighting conditions and how they might affect a plant. And it was specifically snake plants. And on one side of a walkway, the snake plants were lush and green and beautiful, and they had a little bit of a shady microclimate. And literally on the other side of the walkway, they didn't have any shade. They did not have a shady microclimate at all. And they were sunburned. They looked terrible. They were bleached out because snake plants actually need a little bit of diffuse light in order to not sunburn and thrive. And it's really interesting if you have the ability to go on a trip and see these plants in nature and see how they behave, you can really learn a lot about them.
Absolutely.
And that's the same in our house. Like, we're trying to recreate these little microclimates that they exist in outside, inside. And so one way that I think houseplant care can become even more accessible as well to people is just by going online or observing or looking that plant up and seeing what it looks like outside in the wild where it actually grows, because all of our houseplants come from outside, guys. They come from outside.
What?
I know, but people sometimes people are like, they don't think about it because we're like, these are inside plants and these are outside plants, but your inside plant is actually from the outside, but we bring it in.
Yeah, I'm a textbook houseplant killer, and usually when my houseplants start looking really bad, I just take them outdoors and put them in a shady spot, and they typically shape up pretty quick, and then you can bring them back indoors.
Would you stop bragging about living in a subtropical climate in Texas? Like, you live on the coast, man. It rains every afternoon.
Hey, home is where you make it, okay? Home is where you make it.
So while we're talking about
dense shade,
Monstera plants, have you ever tasted the Monstera fruit? Because I heard that they are edible and quite interesting. Has anybody ever tasted? I'm curious.
Yeah, I've had it.
And what do you think? What does it taste like?
It's got the texture and taste of a banana with a little bit of pineapple.
Okay.
But you have to be careful because if you try to harvest you don't like bite it. It's kind of like a corn on the cob, really. They have the little granules. But if you eat them before they're ready, they're poisonous. So you got to make sure you're all right. The rule of thumb is if you can brush your finger across it and it just naturally falls off, then you're good. So that's what I've done.
It looks good. It looks good. I got a little wild. I was at a nursery and there was a Queen of the Night, and it had like a dragon fruit on it, and I ate it, and that didn't taste very good. No, that one did not taste very good at all.
Me too.
Yeah, it was no gusto.
We have a question in the chat from Nightshade Farm that I think is a good one. And I'd like to see if Tanner agrees with me on this. I don't pot my houseplants up when I first bring them home. As a matter of fact, I like to let them acclimate. And then if I do, I like to go 1 to 1.5 inches larger than the root ball of the plant. Sometimes 2, but no more than that, because I don't want them to get root rot. If they don't have the root system to support a bigger pot, I think you're at risk of overwatering. What's your take on this?
That sounds like a million of my videos that I put out there. Yeah.
Perfect.
That's a huge compliment coming from Tanner, the planter houseplant expert.
I mean, maybe you heard it from me in a roundabout way. It's always funny. A lot of the times, so I was talking about the chopstick method earlier of measuring the water for your plants, and I don't, I've been teaching that method for 5 years or 6 years, but I'll do other things as well. I'll give other ways to test your water, and it never goes. This always happens every single time. So I'll put out a different video of how to check for watering or whatever, and all of the comments will be like, "You should just use a chopstick." And I'm like,
That's hilarious.
I actually
like every time I prune a fruit tree, they're like, can you root that cutting? Can you take that and root that?
It's like, man.
Yeah, man. I can.
I'm like, yeah, you can, but then it's not a grafted tree, and the rootstock's going to be different, and it's going to grow different, and
because it always depends. The funny thing is about this chopstick method, and I'm a Travis County Master Gardener. We go through a rigorous program here. We talk about foot candles and lighting, and we talk about when to up pot plants and how to measure your soil moisture. And recently, because I'm in a drier part of Texas, being in Austin, and so my raised garden beds will become hydrophobic if I don't drench them effectively. And so I actually have one of those brass soil moisture, what do you call them? Rods. It's a probe. Yeah, probe. And I shove it down in there and I pull it up and you can see on the notches like how far down the soil is moist or if it's dry or not. But I did a video about that and I also use the chopstick method and I call it I say it's like testing the center of your cake, right? If you stick a toothpick in the center of your cake and you pull the toothpick up, if you know, you can
like
tell whether or not
brownies
your
do.
cake is ready or not. If you do the same with your like chopstick or your toothpick and you stick it down in there and you pull, it's moist when you pull it up, then yeah, you don't need to water. But in the Master Gardener program, they also talk about the second knuckle. Like if you stick your finger down in there and it's dry down to 2 inches, it's probably time to water.
Mm-hmm.
That's why master gardeners have me come and teach them how to take care of houseplants because they're terrible at it.
Rude.
So you don't like the finger method? That's an unofficial.
Hey, careful, Josh, careful.
Like I have a cactus downstairs in a 14-inch pot. My knuckle's going to go down about 2 inches. If I water it every time it's dry 2 inches, it's going to die real quick. So that method is good for some plants some of the time, but as an overarching thing of how to take care of your plants, it's old wives' terrible idea.
It depends. Yeah. Again, it depends. Do you have drainage? Is your pot in a nursery pot inside of a decorative pot with drainage in the nursery pot? Because that's how I do all of mine, and I tell everybody just to make sure that it's not sitting in water inside of its decorative pot.
Yeah, cash pot system. That's a great way to do it, especially for indoors. If you want to, it's great for floor plants if you want to protect your surfaces, especially.
Yes.
How do you feel about the self-wicking pots? Because I had some nasty issues with those where it sits like in a canister and there's a water basin below. And I had some nasty results with some of those. It's just too much moisture. It's staying too moist. Have you had issues with those?
They're not inherently bad. The problem is they're marketed very predatorily. So if you see any of those commercials or those advertisements or whatever, they're advertised to just keep water in the reservoir and your plant is going to drink what it needs. It's just a bottom watering pot. You're only supposed to put water in there when your plant needs water, and then it soaks it all up and then you dump out the excess. So they're fine in and of themselves. But everybody, and again, this is one of those things that my wife and I combat. This is a lot of the 200 DMs that we get every day is about these self-watering pots because people just keep watering them all the time, root rot, the whole thing. So I wish they'd do away with them or at least market them, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly our fault. It's usually, I would say a lot of stuff in my experience that I mess up is typically user error.
Yeah.
It's usually a user error. I'm not an instructions reader. I usually watch a video over it and I'll hear like half of the information I need and go put it together and then I mess it up. But I think that's part of the process. You got to break some eggs. You got to kill some plants every once in a while to learn.
Have you tested any citrus trees? That's what I'm concerned about most in terms of this amount of watering method, because I'm curious what the results would be.
Well, I think we're just talking about indoor specifically. Indoors. I'm talking about indoor specific self-wicking.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah, like
but outdoors, how I water my citrus is very different from how I water my figs, which is very different than how I water a few of my other stuff. Just because, like, figs take so much more water than I've been very impressed with my citrus. I basically haven't watered them all summer because I just haven't needed to. Josh, I don't know how that works for you, but it's just definitely dialing in each. But the evaporation rate is just so much lower in a house on a general basis when you're trying to create a comfortable climate. I think that's been my Achilles heel is definitely overwatering. And enough light is good, but it's almost like you bring them home and you're like, don't touch them until you absolutely have to. But hearing you, Tanner, talk about that, finding your methods on finding the Goldilocks zone of when to water, that's awesome because then you're not forcing your plant to get stressed before you water it. And that's wonderful.
Yeah. A lot of times people have issues with plants and they blame it on the plant. Like this hates me. This plant hates me. I can't grow because this plant hates me. It's like, well, no, you've got it in 12-foot candles and you're watering it every day. It's taking care of it.
And it's planted in just peat. Like, and it's typically I do transplant most of the stuff I get because usually it's planted in that nursery peat. And then I was switching it out for like a Soul Soils. I really like their mix. It's a little chunkier than I would like, but I had a lot of perlite and stuff like that to mine, and cocoa court, and try not a lot of just straight peat. It's going to hold too much water from most houseplants. It seems like your drainage is key. Drainage is so important.
Yeah, I always tell people, like, something that most people don't realize is that the soil that you're getting your plants from, they're great for a greenhouse, which is vastly different from your house. There's not as much light or airflow. There's no fans in your house that are blowing it. So it's just vastly different. So yeah, it's a great idea, I think, to change out that soil, especially if you have a problem with overwatering.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, a lot of mine are planted in straight bonsai soil, which is almost like 75% inorganic. Because I was having fungus gnat issues, even just watering like once a week, sometimes, and switching to like bonsai soil actually really helped, because it didn't a little bit of pine bark mulch, but other than that, we use a little bit of indoor fertilizer and just keep them watered like once a week, and it holds up pretty well. But definitely agree with you on the platitudes on, oh, you got to water this much, it's not going to be the same for everybody. I get so many questions like, hey, how often should I water? I was like, well, where do you live? Is it there's so many factors that play into, how often should I water? Because even from my house to someone a town over, it's going to be different on how much they should water based on their soil, their acidity, how much rainfall they're getting. It's wild.
Yeah, that's why I started using like the foot candles and the percentage dry and all that, because we teach all over the world. So we have people that get on even though they can't buy anything, we have people that get on our live sale from Australia and Denmark, all over Europe and South Africa and everywhere. So you have to be able to talk to everybody where they're at. And it doesn't matter where they live. 25% dry is 25% dry. 100% dry for a cactus is 100% dry. So, it's not once a week or every 10 days or whatever, because to your point, your conditions are going to just vary widely. And each one of those is going to, evaporation, right, Phil? Evaporation is going to speed up if you've got better light or whatever, and that means you're going to have to water more often. So, but percentages are across the board, across the world.
Yep. The best lighting in my house is up here in my loft, where my office is. My frog. And the plants up here dry out in much, much faster than downstairs because of the heat in this area of the house. And so they're on a completely different watering. So I could have an orchid up here that has to be watered at a completely different rate than one downstairs.
Yeah.
Because it just evaporates. Because it's so hot up here. So I'm choosy about what plants are allowed to live up here, because it's hard to keep humidity up here.
I think that's one of the things that can be so frustrating with house.
Except for Ralph. Or what do we name him? Elvis. Elvis is fine.
It's a paper mache plant.
He's not paper mache. He's not paper mache. He does have teeth.
Josh, Josh, I know referring to like fake plants, you have a little bit of a game for us tonight, right?
Yeah, I do. Before we get to that, I do have a question. I grow all of my citrus trees, and I've got a couple dozen of them, and I bring them into my garage in the winter. I actually built these big 4x8 rolling carts that I bring them in. They're all in like 15-gallon pots, and I roll them up under there anytime it gets below 40 degrees out. And then I've got artificial LED lights that are those long, like 4-foot long ones. And I've got like a dozen of them. I mean, it looks like a freaking airplane landing zone when you're rolling this thing into my garage. Anyway, and there's two of them. So my question is like, one, like what, I guess measuring that light could help me determine, like, do I need more? Do I need less? And then I'm curious to know what that percentage of dryness would be on a citrus plant, because I've had some years where it's really struggled with like spider mites. That's been one thing. I've had gnats, fungus gnats before. So I'm always trying to figure out like, what's that frequency of watering? So I might use your method and do some testing. That's a really cool idea. But have you, I know it's not a house plant technically, but have you dealt with any type of indoor citrus tree growing conditions?
Yeah, every citrus that I've grown is 25 to 50, because they all have relatively the same anatomy. They don't have succulent leaves. They've got the same sort of trunks and similar root systems, all similar water storing capabilities. So every citrus that I've grown has always been 25 to 50.
Okay.
And any plant can be a house plant. There are no house plants. Any plant can be a house plant, right?
That's right. As long as you've got a powerful enough grow light, go for it. Enough space, yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Is that Ralph there?
Yeah,
This is Elvis.
He's hanging out.
Elvis, sorry.
All right, Josh.
It's okay, Elvis.
Let's see the
Elvis
trivia,
looks like a
the
watermelon.
game for tonight. I'm excited about this one.
This game tonight. So Tanner, we try to play a game where it's like guess that plant, and tonight is a little bit different. I try to gear them towards the guest because you are an indoor plant specialist. So these are all house plants, and this is how much I know about house plants, and that's because my cats will eat any house plant and literally like tip it over, dig this. I have 5 cats, so I can't have house plants. That's why I have garage growing situations. But anyway, so I literally had to borrow these plants from my in-laws for tonight. They were graceful, most of them except for one I keep outside. Anyway, so we're going to start with like most common. I'll read a little description. People will guess in the chat first. And then here's the trick. Half of these are fake plants. So,
In-laws have fake plants? You better divorce.
This is like my kids love the show. Is it cake?
Yeah,
Is it cake? We're gonna do that with plants.
Cut into them.
name the plant and is it fake or is it real? It's a little bit of a clip. Are you sure?
Josh is gonna have his cat taste it, and if it's fake or not.
Yeah, I should have my, and we're starting from like most well-known. You're gonna know these as soon as you see them. So
okay, that first one that has is fake.
Don't say, don't say it out loud.
Next.
We gotta let the people see it. All right, so this tropical beauty has dark green leaves with this bright. You could probably read this, verbatim, Tanner. Bright yellow veins that look like stripes. Comes from Brazil. Makes a dramatic statement indoors. With the right care, it can even produce cone-shaped yellow flower bracts. What plant is it? Does anybody know in the chat what plant this is? Wow, people are going scientific names here. And is this fake or is this real?
It looks fake, but I don't know the name. Is Rocky Rose right? Is that right?
I don't know. I'm gonna ask. I mean, it's not what I looked up.
Is that who this is? Elvis? Sounds like it's made of.
Do you know what plant this is?
That's a fake aphelandra or zebra plant.
Okay, you're right. It's a zebra plant and it is fake, and you can definitely tell this is fake because that's not real.
Oh, Chaos got it right at the end, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
Actually,
AI
Deanna got
generated.
it first.
Oh, did she? Okay. Oh, there it is. Yep.
You said zebra, fake, get out of town. Just like Tanner. Next.
Elvis, you're handsome.
Next.
All right, this
plant.
fuzzy-leaved favorite is famous for its bright little blooms in purple, pink, or white. It thrives in bright indirect light, which I know that that's really a relative term. Doesn't like water on its leaves, which is interesting. I didn't know that. That's why many growers water it from the bottom instead. Is that true, Tanner? That's what I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
And is this fake?
Do I get a guess, or are we doing comments first?
Well, we're going to let the
Somebody-
comments go first, and then you're going to get to confirm and tell us if it's real or fake, and if AI properly described it too.
Yeah.
Wow. Chaos got it. Chaos got
Yeah,
it.
he did.
Cast is on it.
But
Yeah.
Tanner, tell us more about these plants as we go, because I would like to know like your deep level insights into
That's an African violet. It's a real African violet.
Mhm.
They have fuzzy leaves. They grow in actually they're not super terrestrial. They actually grow in like rocky crevices. And if water stands on the leaves, because they're fuzzy, they hold on to leaves or to water longer. So that's why it's generally recommended not to water the leaves, just because if it stays on there for too long, it can get rot, just like any other leaf, but it's just exacerbated by the fuzziness. But you can totally water from the top. They just have to dry out quickly enough. I think every time I've seen them professionally grown, they're still watered from the top, just like everything else. But again, they've got the airflow and everything that dries it out before it's a problem. It's very rare to see a grow operation water from the bottom.
Yeah.
And
Can't
is it
you
real?
also-
I think we all know that this is
It's
real.
real.
Right?
Yes, that one's
Yeah.
real.
Can't you also propagate them from the leaves?
I've done it.
Yeah, leaf stem and separation. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you know, seed, of course, if you're crazy.
Nah,
And-
I
and
don't go
I-
crazy.
I have them in. I have mine in the bonsai soil, and it's very rocky and does really well on it. It does really well.
You know, one of my favorite ways to grow it is actually semi-hydro, where you can get like those lava rocks from, you know, a little outdoor landscaping thing, and put like an inch of them in the bottom of like just a decorative bowl, whatever it is. I like to use a clear bowl, and then you strip all the soil away from the roots. And because they're naturally accustomed to climbing on rocks already, they just cover those rocks in roots. So you put about you fill up the container with water just about halfway to the rocks, you know, so the rocks, those lava rocks suck up that water all the time. And so those roots just go crazy with it. The best African violets I've ever grown are all using that method.
That's
Well,
really
it's also
interesting.
amazing.
I want to
Really
do
cool.
that. That's cool.
Yeah, I love that.
Deep level hacks here. All right, this next one grows tiny round leaves in dense mats that spill gracefully over pots. It thrives in high humidity and makes a great choice for terrariums. Many people also use it as a living ground cover indoors. Do you know what it's called? And is it real? Is it cake? I mean, is it real?
I know that.
I
think
wish
it's
one
real.
of them were cake.
Yeah,
That would be
container's
so
too-
baller.
I think it rhymes with cake.
GLA.
I
Is this
have no
right?
idea, guys. I do not know.
Anyone?
I know it's not Chef Flare. I would need to see it up
It's
closer
not
because it
Chef
could be
Flare.
like maybe 3 plants. And you also have to realize that a lot of times they just make up plants that aren't real. This could be something
Yeah.
that's super generic. I would say Pilea glauca or maybe some type of fern, but I can't depict the leaves well enough. But
I
definitely
feel
it
like it's cake.
looks fake for sure though.
Yeah.
It's cake. It's supposed to be baby's tears. I don't know.
Baby tears, yeah. That's another Pilea. Yeah, that's
Somebody
another
did get that.
Pilea glauca, yeah.
And you can see how much my mother-in-law paid for it. It takes 3, so she paid for 3 of these.
I say she could have got a whole like regular plant for the price of 3 of those. She could have
Pick
got
it
3
up at,
regular sized plants.
But she got a nice blue and white. So
Hope
she never watched
The reason I know that's a bad fake is because baby tears trail. That's a long trailing plant. And they're much more rounded than that. There's not as much texture on the outside.
So it's not just a fake, it's a bad fake.
Yeah.
It's
That's how
a
a
light
baby
fake.
really goes.
It's trash. No.
Oh wow, okay, it's really cool looking.
Is it
Must
cake?
have been at was it at Bucky's?
I'll show it. I was gonna share what it's supposed to look like.
Oh, please do. Oh, that is pretty
Oh,
cool.
yeah. Pretty.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying about the trailing.
That's beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Terrible name though.
Yeah. The growers that we get them from has a tag on them and it's literally a baby like sobbing. It's like, oh, it's a great way to sell plants.
All right, this one everyone should know. In fact, even I knew this before I pulled this out, which is saying something. So it should be pretty easy. But I'm going to keep it back here at first, just so that you can see.
This one's hard to tell if it's fake or real because
It's a classic house plant. It has long striped leaves that arch out in all directions. It produces, I can't say that because it's too close to the name. They dangle down on these little stems like plant ornaments, and these babies can be rooted to grow more plants with ease, which is actually pretty cool. These little babies here.
Yeah.
Oh, but is it cake?
And it's fake. We could tell. The crinkle gave it away after the
texture
fact
noise,
that it's just
yeah.
very fake looking.
But how
I have a
many
huge one outside
fakes
right now.
does it take to fill a pot? That's the
Let's
question.
say 5
4.
or 6.
There's 4 in there.
Oh man.
Let's see. There's 3.
Oh, 3.
Nice.
All right, tell us about spider plants, though, Tanner. Like
The word you were looking for is spiderettes. The little babies are spiderettes.
Well, I didn't want to say it because it was going to give away the name.
Oh,
In Latin America, it's kind of a funny name. It's called mal de madre. Mala madre. Because it's bad mother, because they have those babies like that. And when they get big enough, they kind of just drop them. And even though that's kind of what we do, we wait till they're 18 and then let them
Sort
go.
of like I
this
just
one
did that
popped
to
up.
my
But Josh, I was going to say,
Big
for
plant.
all your cats, you need a legitimate spider plant. First of all, do your
Yeah,
in-laws
non-toxic.
a favor and get rid of the fake plants. They're gassing off formaldehyde all the time. Most fake plants have formaldehyde in them, and it's terrible.
That's
But
a good
also,
point.
spider plants are hallucinogenic for your cat. So if they get into it, you might have a bunch of druggies on your hand. But it's fun.
I mean,
It's kind of like
That's
cat.
better than the nip.
Yeah, it's better than the nip for sure.
That's
But
hilarious.
They also eat mold spores. So if you've got, a lot of people like to put them in their bathroom, because if you're going to have mold in your house, the bathroom is probably a pretty good spot for it. And it actually absorbs mold, which is really fantastic, through its stomata. And it converts it into, oxygen for us at night.
Wow.
That's really
I never
interesting.
knew that. That is so cool.
That is so cool.
Spider plants are crazy cool.
I always thought they're kind of blah, but now I want one.
I
I totally want one now.
huge one.
I thought they were like
Massive.
basic. I was like, oh, I definitely need one now.
And they have beautiful roots too. One of my favorite root systems of all time.
Yeah,
You're selling us here, Tanner. I might end up on your app. When's the
Get on
next
that live sale.
When's the next sale? That's what I want to know.
Saturday at 6:30.
Saturday at 6
We'll be
Central Time. Central Time.
6:30 Central. Yeah, that's right.
I'm gonna bomb that up in the comments. So, all right, this one's really popular. Everybody should know this. It's got heart-shaped leaves that climb or trail down, depending on how it's grown. Tolerates low light, but really thrives with bright indirect light. Man, these terms now mean so little to me. But many people grow it on poles or let it spill from hanging baskets. Can you guess what this is? And is it cake?
Des, I bet this is one that you saw growing out in nature that you were like, whoa, it's way, way different when you see it out where it grows in the wild.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's a gold pothos. People are already guessing it over here. But yeah, in the wild, the leaves get as large as banana leaves, which is incredibly interesting, and they start to look fenestrated in a way, or cut leaves. They're really fun to see growing up in big trees, but they can also be invasive in some places, like Hawaii.
Yeah,
But is it real?
Florida
Is it real?
too.
That is real. Yeah, that's real.
This is real. Okay.
I have many a variety in the house.
Is pothos probably like, maybe besides air plants, maybe the most popular house plant? It's got to be up in the top 5 at least, huh?
I'd say so for sure. It's been a staple since the 60s, so for sure. So
Yeah,
they're just so easy. They're like weeds,
yeah. You just
Is that why
Just
they
cut
became
'em
a
off
staple?
and
Because they were just like
throw 'em in
so
water everywhere.
You can abuse them.
sustainable. You could beat them up. You could propagate them easily.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They're very, very hardy. Even if this one time, this is a funny story. Speaking of golden pothos, I, like probably many of you, I used to store a lot of my plants in the wintertime in the garage, and because you get an extensive collection, you buy too many when the weather's nice and they're outside, and then you got to bring them in when it gets cold and there's no room. You got the garage. So I put it out there in the garage, and I forgot about it for the whole winter. Forgot about it for the whole, because I had a whole bunch of them, and it was in a 4-inch pot tucked behind all the rest of them, And come spring, when it was warm enough to start bringing everything out, I'm like, hey, buddy, forgot about you. So it's been like, 3 or 4 months at this point of nothing. And it was it was a goner. But they're so hardy, it came back. I was like, this is a pothos. Let me see what happens. And put it outside in full shade, water the bejesus out of it. Got some nice fertilizer, got some nice mycorrhizae on there, and boy, she popped back. I think one of my kids killed it a few years later in college.
Josh, great job.
I have one more. I have one more.
Awesome.
I'm fact checking.
This is for all the marbles.
All right.
For all the marbles.
This one's a bit tough. I don't know how good you are at bonsai, but this bonsai tree is admired for its small, serrated, tiny little leaves and graceful branching. Let's see if we can get a good close-up of the serrated leaves.
I think I know what it is.
It's hardy, forgiving, and often chosen by beginners as a learning bonsai In nature, it even produces tiny edible berries that birds and people can enjoy. And there might even be a little white flower on this. In fact, and is it real?
I think it's real.
I'd say it's real.
But people can eat the berry?
I've eaten the berry.
I don't know outdoor bonsai is largely an outdoor activity, so I don't really know trees as much. But is it? Does it start with an M? The name is kind of escaping me. Does it start with an M?
It does not.
Okay. Is it a G?
It's got an M in there.
I don't know that one.
That's why I made the hardest last. So this is a Chinese elm.
Okay.
Oh, right.
You had the M in there. And it is real. And I've kept this alive for several years now. And 1 year, and I left it in really good sun, I did get a lot of white flowers and little berries, and I ate them. And they were okay.
That's awesome.
I love the shape of that.
Yeah, too. It's really cool.
Pretty cool shape. It's got some fun little gnarly bits.
I think it's a pretty common misconception that bonsai is an indoor thing. A lot of them are meant to stay outdoors like year round almost. And in Japan, they keep a lot of their stuff outdoors. And Texas is kind of a hard one. You can do a lot of tropical bonsai, but you can't do like a lot of maples and stuff. Like Japanese maples are hard to keep alive in Texas. In my part of Texas, alive in general. But like I had a buddy who came from Alabama and lost all of his Japanese maples. I think Michael said he has to buy a new Japanese maple every single year for his little koi pond out in his house.
He's actually more north than me, or well, you know that he's up in my hometown, and it does get wintry up there more so than down here.
We're able to grow them perfectly fine here because we're not as hot as you are and down in Houston, and we don't get quite the extreme colds that Fiore does up there in Wichita Falls. So yeah, we get those.
That's my hometown too, by the way, is Wichita Falls.
Oh, cool. Very nice. Yeah.
Well, and y'all have a lot of woods too, so y'all can grow them like in the understories, and they can get that filtered sun as well. Probably a little bit of a break.
Yeah, they do. They do really well. A lot. Yeah. So a lot of people think that bonsai are indoor trees, largely because of pop culture. Every oh my gosh, every time there's a new season of Cobra Kai coming out, someone is trying to get a juniper from us for indoors, and I'm like, well, it'll die in just a couple of weeks. They need, most people don't realize that bonsai are just regular trees forced to stay small. And so
you can bonsai any tree, any fruit tree too. I've seen a lot of pomegranates bonsai'd. I've seen all kinds.
You can even, you can bonsai just about anything. Have you ever looked at bonsai succulents?
That's that's the style which I do most of my cactus and succulents is bonsai style in shallow pots with. Now, I'm not a big wirer. I feel I got sausage fingers, so I always break stuff and snap stuff when I'm trying to wire stuff. But I grow my stuff in mostly bonsai soil like that. Phil, I wanted to talk about real quick because we're talking about indoor plants. Ficus benjamina is like a super popular, fig for indoor plants. A lot of indoor plants that are ficus species actually produce fruit, but they're not. But they're not edible. They're not.
That was like speaking of Fiore. Like I remember he had a fiddle leaf that fruited for him, and he ate it, and it didn't go so well.
No, I don't know.
But I guess I could have told him that. But I get a lot of fiddle leaf questions, and I was like, and I don't know the answers because I don't grow them that much, and I just know, like, I've had issues with them not getting enough light and just dropping all their leaves and until they have like 2 on top. And you're like, is that what's going on here? Or like knowing that they love to be root bound. And if you repot them, you have to be very careful. Like they are not cared the same way you care for a Ficus corica that you would have outdoors.
I'm rough on my fiddle leaf. He's hard grown outside. So I bought I bought 2 fiddle leaves at the same time. I kept one indoors, one outdoors. I keep the one outdoors in a big, like 55-gallon pot, and he's in filtered sun.
55?
Yeah, it's a 55-gallon drum and cut in half. And so the one that's indoors has grown about over the last 2-3 years. It's grown like a couple of inches, But the one outdoors, it grows like 8 foot tall every single year, and I have to cut it and propagate it. because it just does so much better outside. Like they thrive, and I abuse it. I barely water it.
You bring it inside at all in the winter?
Oh yeah. I mean, it would die if I didn't bring it into the greenhouse.
Right.
But they're pretty hardy. Fiddle leaves are pretty hardy.
That's good to know.
Yeah, I've noticed the same thing because of pop culture, a lot of the times our biggest gripe is always HGTV more than anything, because like designers are putting these fiddly figs by the staircase 30 feet from a window.
Yeah.
And everybody and their dog buys the fiddly fig and then kills it because it's 30 feet from the window. And they're like, fiddly figs are so hard. They're so temperamental. They hate me. And I'm like, oh, you're listening to a designer, not someone who knows how to grow plants. It's crazy.
Right.
Yeah. No, they don't like indoor. They like,
they need light. Yeah.
But they don't like full. They don't like, getting blasted by the sun. They're just like, I've got an umbrellata as well, and it does so well. It's literally grown like, it grows like 8 feet every year, and I got to cut it, propagate it, and just to get it to fit in my greenhouse. It's insane. It's wild.
Keep telling us more about your subtropical weather. Come on.
I know. Just like
we also get hurricanes, so I mean, like it's a give and take.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you do get a few of those. We get tornadoes. Some people get fires. Some people get whatever.
Some people get too much rain, like 9 days straight of it. I'm like,
Some people would like some more rain right now. I would really love some rain right now.
Just blow a cloud over. Go over there.
Yeah, could you do that, please? Go blow the clouds this way.
Yeah, but I mean, that would be like my number one tip for people. Like most plants would rather be outside. So if you're going to have them indoors, you got to manipulate their environment as if it, to be like it would be outside.
Yeah, that's the challenge, and of course, giving yourself a little bit of grace on that front too. I always tell people like, the plants you're trying to grow in your house in Wisconsin, that thing came from Southeast Asia, thousands of miles away in 99% humidity, growing exactly where it's been adapted to grow for thousands of years. And you trying to grow it in your really dark, dry Wisconsin house in the winter with your air cranked up and everything. Yeah, it might drop it might get a little bit of brown tip, Yeah. Give us some grace. Because if I was dropped off in Singapore tomorrow, I'd probably have more than a brown tip.
Right.
Rough.
Well, and I've even seen it with plants where they just have to acclimate to a different light source. You'll buy a plant from a nursery or a plant shop, and you bring it home and you put it in a different spot, and it may drop all of its leaves, and then it produces new leaves to like adapt to being in a different environment. It's don't just because it drops all the leaves immediately just yank it up and throw it out. I've been surprised some of the stuff that just comes right back. But like I said, it could be my amazing climate as well. That could have something to do with it.
Yeah, it's really common with ficus too. Very, very common with ficus.
Oh, ficus love to just freak out.
Drop.
They'll just like freak out. I had this one ficus that I had taken with me from apartment to apartment. It was in this gorgeous like copper drum. And every time I moved that dadgum thing, it would drop half of its leaves and start sapping. Would just like start dropping latex every time. I'd be like, dramatic thing. And then it would recover. About a month later, it'd be like, oh, this is fine. Sorry, I was tripping.
I was tripping.
My favorite plant that I always get pictures of from, friends, family, acquaintances, whatever, is the peace lily. They'll like walk in one day and that thing has dramatically just passed all the way out. It's just laying over the pot. Like it's just having the biggest tantrum. And it's usually because it's thirsty. And then on the other spectrum, maybe you gave it too much water. Those are the two things. Otherwise, it's easy.
Usually you wait for like the peace lilies to start wilting to water. Usually like you wait till they're going to start flopping over and then you water and they come back. One thing that I know people really love, and I see it in a lot of the plant shops and nurseries, is staghorns. And I have seen people, like you're saying on HGTV, they have them inside, and it's like, how do they keep those things alive indoors? Like that's something that likes humidity, likes a little bit of like light and a little bit of heat. I don't know how people keep those alive indoors. Do y'all sell those as well, Tanner?
Yeah, we grow Platycerum are some of my favorite plants of all time. We had a really rare one on last night that was fun, the Wandii. But no, they're super easy to care for indoors. Not all of them. Some of the more rare Platyserum, the staghorns, they need that really high humidity, etc. But there are a lot of varieties that do great inside. I will say, if you're not a heavy water, or if you don't water all the time, then keeping it in a pot is better than mounting it. Like most people like to mount them on a plank of wood, but they dry out really, really quickly that way. So you kind of got to know your personality to set yourself up for success. Yeah.
Oh, that's a beautiful one. Yeah, no, I love seeing that European mount style. It's like you're saying, they dry out really quick.
Yeah, but they are beautiful. This is one of my favorite plants of all time for sure.
Oh yeah, I follow some Japanese Instagram accounts, and all they do is this style, and they do some crazy stuff over there.
We've been trying to convince them to come over to the United States because Japan and the Netherlands have the lion's share of all the Platyserum and they don't bring them over to the US. There's just not enough market for it. They've tried, but they haven't gotten popular enough. So a couple times a year, we try to check in with them and try to, we're trying to make these popular over here so you guys can bring in some of the more rare varieties. And the past 2 years, they're starting to implement more and more variety in there. So it's exciting. Maybe one day we'll get all the really cool stuff over here.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm definitely down with the Japanese because I'm into super kabutos, like the astrophytums and stuff, and they have mastered like astrophytums. It's insane what they do with cactuses over there. It's nuts. And so that caught on. So maybe how do you say Platyserum? Platyserum?
Yeah, Platyserum.
Okay.
Like
I'm gonna start.
Platyserum.
I'm gonna start using the right term because I just call everything all of them a staghorn, but they're not all staghorns, I guess. So.
I just remembered something really silly that happened the other day. So my husband likes to make jokes about how he has plant blindness around the house because I have so many plants, which is good for me because then he doesn't notice if I have extras. But it was in the evening, and I have a Calathea network that sits on my coffee table. And, the sun was starting to go down, and he actually noticed it move. He noticed the plant move, and he goes, "Babe, I don't want to alarm you, but that plant just like the leaf just went like this." And I was like, "Yeah, it follows the sun." And he said, "What?" And I was like, "It's a Calathea. It's kind of like you would be better about telling the lore behind these types of plants, but it's like a prayer plant where they like follow the sun throughout the day. And so at various times of the day, it'll be over here, it'll be back here, it'll be over here. And he just happened to catch it right when it was like moving for the day. And it was really funny. It freaked
did this
him out.
happen? Did this happen around like 4:15 or around that time of the day?
Listen, if you're trying to text me, I've already got this house locked down.
I thought you were going into like earthquake because we had a small earthquake and that might have shifted the leaf. I thought you were going.
No,
so your plants walking around.
We see it in our store a lot too with our Calathea. So when the sun starts going down, during the day they're all out like this.
Yeah.
And then as the sun goes down, they start to fold up like that. So if one of them is moving past another leaf, sometimes they'll kind of springboard and go like that. So you will see them like have that movement to them.
It was so funny.
Frequent, yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
While we're talking about moving plants, are you into any carnivorous plants, and do you have any favorites?
I love carnivorous plants. Yeah, I was gonna say, as long as your husband doesn't see that one come alive behind you, you're good.
He was there when my artistic brain gave birth to this plant. I made him, so he was there.
We have one that's identical to that we've been using for our Halloween trunk or treat display for the past 5 years.
Oh, where'd you get it? Did you get it from Michael's or something, or did you make it?
No, our store manager made it. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, this is made out of a carvable pumpkin.
Yeah.
And it's got glue, hot glue for slobber, and clay teeth, and then the tongue is actually the part I cut out from there.
They're so fun and easily recognizable. The adults love it. They're like, "Oh, we got to go see this, kids!" And they're like, "What the heck is this?"
I know, it's so fun.
The parents know what it is.
I love it.
Yeah, but my favorite. So I have different favorite carnivorous plants because they're really, really different. So fun fact: there are carnivorous plants that grow in I think almost every gardening zone, if not every gardening zone.
A lot of native ones, a lot of native carnivorous plants is wild.
Yeah, actually, Phil over there, it's the only place yeah, that's right. The Venus flytraps grow. My favorite one is the pinguicula. Any of the pinguiculas are great for me. They're basically they're succulents that have sticky leaves is basically what it is. It's what it looks like. And they're very productive, and they're fun, and they're easy. But they're not always carnivorous. They're not carnivorous in the winter. They go dormant and lose their stickiness on their leaves. But they are a wonderful and fun little carnivorous plant, and one of the only ones that truly does well indoors. Like in the average lighting scenario that a person would have, pinguiculas are one of the ones that are going to do the best. Your Venus flytraps, your pitcher plants, a lot of your pitcher plants, unless they're tropical, aren't going to do really well unless you have more than the amount of light. Yeah.
Yeah, this kind of looks like a African violet almost. Like yeah, I know like regular carnivorous plants, like you'd want those like in a terrarium or something like that. We had red fern, was it Red Leaf Ranch? His husband does like carnivorous plants. I know we talked about that. There's so many different varieties. I have never had good luck with them though. It's wild.
With the carnivorous ones, we had a guy, he's out in Warsaw, North Carolina, but his whole thing, he's like, you make a bog in your greenhouse, make a bog area, or in your house somewhere, and you just like create that. And it's another strategy of creating the environment. Actually, Destin, your climate's probably similar. If you can find something that's like shady or understory, something that could like attract mosquitoes, be great for that Venus flytrap.
Right there, actually, where Des lives, it's perfect for a lot of carnivorous plants. One of the best carnivorous growers in the U.S. is right there in right on the outskirts of Austin. Carnivoro.
Carnivoro.
Yeah, Carnivoro. Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Really cool stuff, and he's into the whole scientific part of it as well. He gets to travel around the world for conservation reasons for carnivorous plants and stuff as well. So it's a really cool operation. If you're ever around the Austin area, they just opened up their retail location. You can go and see them in person.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I think I could definitely. I've been seeing the pitcher plants more often, and I think the problem was I was trying to keep them indoors, and so if I were to keep them like outdoors, like next to like my staghorn and my bromeliads and stuff, I think they would maybe do okay over there. So I definitely may have to.
American pitcher plant should be in full sun, even in full. I mean, once it gets closer to 100 degrees, you might back up on the full sun. But if it's tropical pitcher plant, it can definitely go inside. But if you're going to keep it outside, full shade for sure.
Yeah, I may have to give it a try again.
Yeah,
I'm always willing to kill stuff. My favorite plant to kill, I buy it every year, and I always kill it is the fuchsia. Fuchsia is very temperamental for me, but I buy it every year because it's so beautiful. Fuchsia is one of the most beautiful upside down. Yeah, it's so hot. It's hot.
It's an annual here.
It's one of those things you'll see. It looks like a made up flower. It doesn't even look like a real plant. And
you can grow that one inside.
You can.
My daughter does. Yeah, she has a beautiful fuchsia in her room because my wife, she grew up in San Francisco, and they grow perfectly there because they have cool enough, and it gets nice and cool there. And she has this funny story where her neighbor, she would walk by, and they had this big, beautiful fuchsia. And the blooms, I don't know if you've ever done this, but if you squeeze them, they make an audible popping sound. And so her as a kid would go by. What was her name? I don't remember. Anyway, but she'd walk by and pop them off, and the neighbor would come out, in her robe or whatever, and screaming at her. Yeah, if you pinch those bells, they kind of, and it's a fun little sound. But
wow,
she didn't like it. The owner.
I might have to do that.
They're my favorite.
I can usually find them in the early spring. I've never seen the dark.
I love the hummingbirds all over them.
They do go nuts for them.
We sell them over here because they're just so beautiful and nostalgic for my wife. So, but they're great.
I love that.
Speaking of carnivores, what about cat-friendly plants? Do you have any top recommendations if I were to get into indoor plants? And
it depends if you want them to trip balls or not. With the spider.
I like the spider plant idea. I love that. The whole it gets rid of the mold. It eats it or metabolizes it.
Yeah. I would say a lot of your most common pet-friendly plants are going to be calathea. If you want one of those prayer plants, they're pet-friendly. All orchids are bromeliads of any variety.
Sansevieria?
No.
No.
Hoya is a big one. Cast iron is fantastic. Ferns, for the most part. Going through my regular list. Begonias, a lot of begonias are as well. But yeah, you got tons of options for pet friendly.
That's interesting.
And honestly, you know what? Since you got some viewers on here, while you're at it, usually what toxic means is kind of like how alcohol is toxic for us. Yes, peperomia, perfect. It's kind of like how alcohol is toxic. So we used to take care of plants for our local vet, and so she told us all about this. She's like, yeah, it's called a self-limiting toxin. And so like all these plants that people are scared about having in their house because, they have pets, more often than not, it's just a matter of them eating it and throwing up. Kind of like if you overconsume alcohol, you're going to throw it up. It's not actually life-threatening. There are some for sure, but most aren't. There's very few that will actually cause death. Like Dieffenbachia and true lilies. Not peace lilies, but true lilies.
Are two oleander.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like what your cats are trying to do is scratch and poop in the pots. Is what they're trying to do, Josh.
They're trying to knock it over. Like I brought my bonsai in to start, and I would find leaves on the ground. Like it would just eat all the leaves off of it. So you
might have seen to put them like hanging baskets higher up, or maybe that'll just be too much of a game. Maybe they'll try to climb up in them,
jump in, grab it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, I want to kind of wrap it up here shortly, but any last questions in the chat, and we'll go around the horn. Y'all have any other questions? Phil, I know you're getting ready for a little bit of high winds, just like that. You got your figs all tied up and staked and everything.
Fortunately, I won't. We only got like the very outer bands of this, so I'm very relieved. Not to say, I mean, what is it? November 15th is the end of hurricane season, so we still have all of September, all of October to get through. So you never know.
That's awesome. Well, we'll go around the horn real quick. Josh, let everybody know what you got coming up, what you got going on, dude.
I've got a lot of fruit trees coming in. Probably another 15 or so. So I'm thinking about doing like a workshop on like planting fruit trees, just so I could get everybody out here to help plant those trees. Like I'll teach you and you help me plant it. So like having all your friends paint your fence for you. It's a fence painting party, right? We're gonna do a fruit tree. Anyway, I'm just mapping out where they're gonna go. I'm going to be traveling a good bit. So I've been trying to go to more agro-tourism locations and check out like you pick farms and interview farmers and get their stories. I just went to a really cool one, Pilot Mountain Pears here, and they do all Asian pears. So it was just a really cool experience, like 5,000 Asian pear trees.
Wow.
So I'm trying to get out there and just interview people, hear their stories, and get people aware of what locations they can go to experience it firsthand and do those you pick experiences, which is really where agriculture is going on a larger scale. I found out that they literally can't grow apples and make a profit anymore because they're getting all the juice in from China, and you literally can't grow them for what they're selling for, which is really sad. So everybody's switching to agro-tourism on the commercial side, which is sad, but a reality.
We're gonna fix that, China. We're gonna fix that. No more Chinese apple juice. That sounds terrible, actually. Also, papayas, Josh. Papayas.
Yeah, papayas. We need to talk about that, but I'm pretty excited about it. So
yeah, we'll have some papaya content coming soon for y'all. Thank you, Josh, as always. Phil, you joined us late, but what you got, man?
I have Figapalooza coming up September 6th in Greenville, North Carolina, where there's going to be like, it's like a big focused event. Josh was there last year with us. We got to shoot a fun little video, and Josh learned a ton about figs there, and we had a great video on what happens after what's the next fruit tree after figs? And so we got to go down the list
Gateway
of ways
gateway tree.
Gateway fruit tree. And I still think figs are. Because they're just so versatile and resilient. They really open you up to what other fruit trees you can grow in your backyard. But I'm really excited. It'll be the 3rd year going. I'll be speaking a little bit. I'm not quite sure on the topic yet. I'm kind of feeling out what to expect and what other people are talking about.
It'll be figs, though, right?
What's that?
You'll be talking about figs, though.
No, obviously.
Yeah.
And then I have Figtoberfest down in Tejas, October 4th.
Yep. Bill's coming down.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said it right. It is. That's how you say it correctly. Yeah, October 4th, Figtoberfest. It is going down here in Angleton, Texas, Missouri County, just south of Houston. So
also, if you're a dad out there, if you grow figs, you will have the most puns to work with ever of any plant. Just forget about it.
It's one of the main reasons I got
Forget about it. Ha!
Forget about it.
Well, you're such a fig deal, you know.
Oh my! Here, let it. But
Big deal.
Yes,
I'm kind of a big deal. All right, thanks for having me on. This will be my last episode.
Thanks, Phil. Des, what you got going on? College girl.
Guys, in 5 days, I officially start college for horticulture. So here we go. I'm excited about it. My books have been arriving in the mail. Full-time classes are coming right up. So I am doing that. And then also, I have been out starting to work on the garden some because it has been in the 70s overnight now. And so that's a good indicator that I may be able to lay some compost soon. And so I'll be making I really am going to be making some videos now. I have not been doing that, but don't worry. I am definitely going to be doing that. I'm finally getting to that point where I've got my mojo back after losing our dog unexpectedly in July. That really took the wind right out of our sails. So yes, I'm starting college in 5 days. I'm very excited.
We're very proud of you. We're very proud of you, Des.
Thank you.
College girl.
I think it's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome. I keep giving our friend Vikram crap because he wrote one of my textbooks. So there's that.
Yes. I love that. Awesome,
Yeah.
Des. Thanks for being on. Oops,
something else, but I don't know. There was something else. If I remember, I was going to tell you guys something else, but I forgot.
Okay. All right. Think about it here in a second. Let me know. Tanner, thank you for coming on tonight. We really appreciate you joining us. I mean, you're already pretty world famous, but let everybody know where they can find you and what you got coming up.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. This is a lot of fun. I've never been part of a outdoor gardening group, so this was wonderful.
We weren't too mean, were we?
Yeah, you can follow us on Tanner the Planter. That's anywhere that we've got social media, and our store social media is Famous in Oregon.
And the pre-order for your book, I put the link in the comments for that.
That's right. You can get it anywhere that you buy books. It's anywhere that you can get books online. It's available for pre-order. We do our live sale, like I was saying, every Tuesday and Saturday at 6:30. You can download our app, which is just Tanner the Planter in your app store. We're famous for our shipping. Actually, I don't know if you guys know this, but we're famous for our shipping. We ship out about 1,200 boxes a week or something like that. It's something like that.
Oh my God!
So there's a lot going out. We have a ton of plants. We ship them all over the country. We just opened up a new shipping facility, so that's kind of what we're doing, wrangling the 20 staff as they get over there and figure it all out, figure out a new layout and all that. And something that's really exciting on a more personal note, I'm taking my whole family back to my hometown for our famous rodeo in Pendleton.
Oh, nice.
So it'll be the first time that all of my family is back to this little town in September. So I'm really pumped about that.
Oh, that's
exciting.
Awesome.
That'll be really fun.
Do y'all do like a mystery box too? Like y'all do like a monthly mystery box or something like that?
No. Oh yeah, we do mystery boxes, but not monthly. It's just kind of where they come out. It's yeah, we get pretty crazy with it. We'll do about 4 or 5 times a year, kind of depending. But people love it because we're pretty crazy with the value that we put out there. Like they'll spend I don't know, it was like $50 or something like that. $40. I can't remember what it is. But we'll usually oftentimes we'll send like 60 or 80, sometimes even like $100 worth of plants. It's just really fun to just blow people's minds. And so when I'm in control of picking the plants, I always send a lot of crazy stuff. And my staff hates me for it. They're like, we got to keep it in the budget. I'm like, listen, that's not as fun as them opening up a monster. That's way more. But
do you have a subscription service, like a plant subscription? Like every month I get a new house plant? That'd be pretty cool.
We used to, but no, not anymore. We don't do that. Mostly logistically, it was a little bit tough to keep up with for people more than anything, because they run out of space very quickly.
Yeah.
And then they stop gifting them to friends. But it's something that we are talking about doing again. But now at the size that we're at, it's a much bigger endeavor than it was when we first started it. So we're figuring out like, oh, wait, maybe we shouldn't rethink this because this is way harder now. So we'll see.
That's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
I just downloaded the app. It's super easy. You can watch the previous live sales. And do you get a notification when y'all go live, like on Saturdays and you said Tuesday and Saturdays?
Yep, Tuesday and Saturdays at 6:30. You'll get a notification when we go live. We do pop-ups too. So sometimes we'll just go to the store. If we have something crazy come in, we don't want some local to come in and pick it up that doesn't know what it is or cares about it. We want to sell it to our people. So we pop up on a live sale and say, hey, just like, okay, so on this last live sale, or maybe 2 live sales ago, we had a plant that we were the only people in the world that had it. Very lucky to have one of those, super rare plants. So that's fun. And we can go on there and be like, hey, if you're on this live sale, you're one of the 12 people that can have it in the world. Well, 11 because I took one.
Well, and that makes so much sense that they all have good success. Y'all are out in Prosper, Texas, which most people, it's on the outskirts of Dallas. So it's not like in the downtown metropolitan area. Like you're not like downtown Austin or downtown San Antonio. So y'all do probably get foot traffic, but like y'all's online stuff is huge. I'm sure like that's gotta be, and I think a lot of people are going to have to move towards that method, that way of doing business, and I think a lot of people that are succeeding. They have to evolve and, grow into that kind of platform. And you've got your own platform, which is crazy. Like that's an investment. That's an investment.
Congratulations. And a lot of hard work had to go into getting there. That's really cool.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot of fun. And there's a lot of people that come into it. I mean, you're seeing Adam right here. He's our ops manager. That's why he would know every single plant that you put up there. He's the plant buyer as well. So he would probably know them even better than myself.
I'm assuming Adam is Chaos and Chlorophyll.
Chaos and Chlorophyll, yeah. And then my wife, especially while I've been writing the book for the past 3 years, I mean, she grew the business. I mean, we've hit record numbers every single year. So she's a killer. Like, it's not me. Like, I'm just over here. I'm like, ooh, we're researching some plants. Oh, this is really great. Oh, this is wonderful. Let me make a video about it. It's everybody else that really makes the business thrive. I'm just kind of the weirdo that likes the plants and,
Oh, yeah. No, I
weirdos who like plants and want to do something cool, and you're doing it.
Yeah,
I too am a weirdo that likes plants.
I too am a
No
weirdo.
way.
I would agree that most of us, I would say probably all of us in this group are only able to do what we're able to do because of our spouses. Like my wife is so helpful with our stuff. Like shout out to Erica, because I think she answers some of your DMs and stuff too. And I was emailing back and forth with her. So shout out to Ashley, shout out to Grace. Shout out to all the spouses. Because they're we couldn't do it without them, and the cats and the dogs and all that stuff too.
Yes. I remember what I was going to say, by the way.
We'll close out with it. Go ahead.
I remember what I was going to tell you guys. I'm going to be attending the International Master Gardener Conference next week. There are going to be a ton of really cool speakers on there, like Doug Tallamy, and I think even Vikram is going to be doing a segment. We've got gardeners all across the world that are going to be talking about some really cool things. So by the way, if you do not see me, not only is it my first week of school, but I am going to be in 4 days of conference, and I love it. I do it every year. It's so exciting. I learned so much. It invigorates me. I get to I get this new second wind to come and share everything. And usually it happens in the spring, but because we're doing an international conference this year, and it's called There Is No Planet B, we're going to have some really cool speakers on there. And I can't wait to share with you guys what I learn. It's my favorite thing to do every single year. So looking forward to that.
The real question is, are they going to have to like take the door frame out to fit all the know-it-all airheads getting into that room? No, I'm just kidding.
Really high.
All right. Goodbye. No. Rude.
I love the Master Gardeners.
What is with the Master Gardeners hate, guys?
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Hey,
come on.
I've got a Master Gardener joke. You want to hear it?
No.
This
Is it
they
not?
started this
No.
war.
Master gardening chats.
They started this war.
Yes.
Go ahead, Dan.
So Master Gardeners all over Texas will have us come and speak there. And this is how I open up every time. You know how you've come in contact with a Master Gardener?
How?
They'll tell you 5 times before you introduce yourself.
I
And
actually
they love it. The crowd goes wild every time. They are.
I might use that one.
They're all like,
No, I
Yeah,
too am a master
go for
gardener.
They even have shirts. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We love you, Des. We're just messing with you, Master Gardeners out there.
Mhm.
Comment down below. It'll feed the algorithm. See y'all later. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And we'll see you next week. Thanks again, guys.
Bye.
See ya.